There are more than 1 million acres of right-of-way lands overseen by the Texas Department of Transportation. These areas are used by third-party companies for utilities, saltwater pipelines, and small low-powered antennas. The land can be accessed by public or private organizations with fee structures set for both. TxDOT and the Texas A&M Transportation Institute aim to develop a system to gauge the value of these rights-of-way for leases of different sizes, times, and locations. It will also evaluate if organizations are violating permits by installing additional facilities, leasing them to private parties.
In order to meet the statutory guidance that we have of getting fair value, and fair market value for our lease rates, it's important that we have a method of determining the value of the real property that we're dealing with.
We looked at a variety of different methodologies to value the right-of-way and try to find out what would be most useful in the specific application. And then we actually traveled around the state and we talked to district personnel from TxDOT who are actually heavily involved in leasing the right-of-way. And we also wanted to hear from the industry about their concerns and ideas for improving the whole leasing process with TxDOT.
So I think we developed a couple of methodologies that TxDOT could use to get an approximate value and then to calculate some lease rates. I think one key finding is that there's a lot of data out there and it's very time consuming to process it. So one of the data sources that we looked at was property valuations from the county assessors, but there's 254 counties in Texas and they all have different data formats. So we did this just to show it could be done, processed some of those file formats, but we also provided a simpler methodology that TxDOT might prefer just due to the ease of implementation or ease of keeping that up to date.
We basically gave TxDOT a methodology on how to improve the evaluation that they're currently doing, and we gave them several tools. We have like a spreadsheet tool, and we have an interactive map that they can also use. So those need to be implemented on their servers, and there's a process on how to do that. But there's also a lot of work behind getting the actual valuation data. So right now we're talking to TxDOT, what would be the next best step, probably doing a pilot in one of the districts that are writing more of those leases.
I think we got a lot of value out of the research as far as confirming our own sense of what appropriate methodologies were, and then learning that what seemed to be a possible source of good information was less attractive in reality than what we were actually looking for.
For say like the oil and gas pipelines, I think it gives TxDOT a justification for setting their lease rates. And so if the companies come back and say, why are you increasing it this year? Then they have something that they can show and say, well, this is how we calculated it.
Now, TxDOT has a methodology that is more consistent to value the right-of-way for different types of leases that they use on a daily basis. And it also increases the transparency of how the value for that lease is achieved. So I think TxDOT, using this methodology and the right-of-way valuation framework, TxDOT should be more confident when they determine lease rates for the variety of leases.
For more information and to find the publications for this project, please visit the TxDOT Research Library at the link shown below.